I didn't expect silence to feel so loud, the kind that presses against your ribs and whispers, "You're alone now." The night he left me, 5 days before the wedding, I stood in our half-empty apartment, staring at the tuxedo hanging where my dress should have been. He didn't even take it, just left it like a ghost of a promise. Said he needed space. Said his career couldn't survive my emotional instability. Translation, he'd already found someone else. The humiliation came later, when I learned that someone else was my maid of honor, that the venue had been canceled under my name, that every payment, every flower, every deposit, every stupid, glittering detail had been on my card. I didn't cry, not then. I just packed my nursing bag and left. By morning, I had $53 to my name and nowhere to go. The job offer came from an agency I'd nearly forgotten about. Live-in nurse, private client. No references required, just discretion. The pay was triple what I'd ever earned. They said the patient was a billionaire, paralyzed after a car accident. He values privacy, they warned. Perfect, I thought. Privacy was all I had left. That mansion was the kind of place that made you whisper. Marble floors, echoing halls, windows taller than my old apartment. The air smelled like dust and secrets. I was shown to his room, told not to touch anything without permission. But when the housekeeper left, curiosity won. I pushed open the bedroom door and froze. He was there, sitting in a motorized chair back to me. The TV flickered with muted light. But it wasn't him that stopped me. It was what hung on the wall, a photograph of my ex-fiancé. Arm around my maid of honor, both smiling, champagne in hand. And beside them, my new employer. His name was Daniel Crane, tech magnate, media darling, and, as I would learn, my ex's latest investor. I understood it instantly. My ex hadn't left me for love. He'd left me for opportunity. Crane's company was his golden ticket, and I was the collateral damage. That night, while Crane slept, I sat by his bedside, watching the slow rise and fall of his chest. The machines hummed softly. His face was peaceful, almost fragile, but I could see the arrogance beneath it, the kind men wear like armor. I wondered if he knew who I was. By morning, I knew he did. "You're very thorough," he said, eyes sharp, voice smooth as glass. "Almost like you're here for something other than the job." I smiled. "Maybe I am." He laughed, slow and knowing. "Then we might get along just fine." Over the next weeks, I learned everything. Crane's accident hadn't been an accident. It had been caused by a brake failure, my ex's design. He'd been driving Crane's prototype car that night, drunk on power and money. When the crash happened, he ran. Crane had taken the fall publicly to protect the company's image. He'd been covering for the man who'd stolen my life. That was when the plan began to form. It wasn't rage that fueled me. It was precision, calculation. Every smile I gave, every dose I measured, every gentle touch, I built trust like a fortress. Crane liked control, so I gave him the illusion of it. He began to talk about his assets, his business, his protégé, my ex, about how loyalty was a currency, and how people like me, quiet, desperate, were easy to buy. He had no idea I was already cashing in. The night of the charity gala, I helped Crane into his tailored suit. He looked powerful again, mask back in place. I slipped the small flash drive into his pocket. He thought it contained his speech notes. It didn't. It contained the security footage from the night of his crash, the one showing my ex tampering with his car. Footage I'd found buried in an encrypted backup on his private server. When the projection screen lit up mid-gala, the crowd gasped. Crane's face went pale. My ex's voice, slurred and laughing, filled the speakers. Chaos erupted, cameras flashed, and I walked out quietly, unnoticed. By morning, the news was everywhere. CEO betrayed by protégé. Criminal charges pending. My ex's company imploded. His assets were frozen. The maid of honor deleted her accounts. As for Crane, he called me that night. His voice trembled with something that sounded like admiration. "You ruined him," he said, beautifully. "I just returned the favor," I replied. He chuckled. "You could have destroyed me, too." I paused. "I could have." Silence. Then, softly, "Why didn't you?" Because that wasn't the point. I wanted them to feel what I had felt. Powerless, exposed, undone by their own choices. I wanted them to remember me every time they looked at what they'd lost. It's strange, revenge. It doesn't fill you, it empties you. But in that emptiness, there's peace. Now, when I walk through the mansion's halls, I don't hear silence anymore. I hear freedom. Crane still watches me carefully, like he's not sure whether to